Charter, independence and objectivity. We are going to discuss these four things. The first thing is charter. What we will study, what is a charter, how we make it, what are the rules and the regulations which IIA suggests us while making a charter. Then independence means internal auditor should be independent, he should be fair, he should not be biased. This all will be mentioned in the charter, that how we will work, what are our norms, ethics, what is our control environment, how the procedures will go, what would be the policies we will adopt. This is everything. It's like a preamble of the company which has all the details. Objectivity is our internal audit department should be fully objective, and it will have the sense based on the professional ethics, and the regulations will be underlined with IIA. And the last is the same thing we are going to discuss, independence and objectivity in terms of if you are a chief audit executive, what should be your skill set, how you should go for an audit, when you can take the audit assignment from someone, or if you are 5 years old, 2 years old, you can go for a private consulting or not. This is all we are going to discuss. The first topic is charter. Charter is like a book, is like a manual which explains everything about your internal audit activity. Mainly it should have purpose, authority, and the responsibility that should be in the internal audit activity should be defined. Like, what is the purpose of the internal audit? Generally, the purpose of the internal audit is twofold. One is, prime objective is for the operations, and we want to improve the efficiency of the company. So we brought this system of internal audit and internal controls has been introduced. First thing. Secondly, what is the purpose and authority? What would be the authority of the internal auditor in the company? Which thing, how he will operate? What would be his role? How he will report to the shareholder or board of directors? Which hierarchy he has to work in? This is we have to define. And what is his responsibility in terms of internal audit? He is responsible for bringing value in the business operations. Then purpose, authority and responsibility of the internal audit activity should be formally defined in a charter. This is the major point to keep in mind. First of all, what is a charter? Then there are certain sub-clauses that we have to keep in mind, because in CIA, the multiple choice questions comes based on that one. Suppose which document, there is a multiple choice question, which document define the responsibility, authority of the internal audit. So one is a charter, other is say internal control manual, something like. So you have to select the right option as charter. Then this charter should be approved before it is implemented. So you can see the approval of the charter by senior management, whom the recommendation has been put, okay, we are going to have this kind of audit, this is acceptable to you. They discuss the consequences, pros and cons, and they approve. But it's not like the head of internal audit makes some policy and he implement in the company. It's not like that. Whatever the audit department works, it is all written in a charter and approved by the senior. And then authorize access to the record, personal and physical properties relevant to the performance of the engagement. Now, you know, every document is a confidential document. For example, payroll, salaries. Payroll department does not share what is your salary, what is my salary, what is his salary. This is highly confidential. But for internal auditor, he should have an access to the payroll, what is the salary, how they are giving, how they are calculating the provident funds. This is internal auditor has to see. So that's why it's an inbuilt you can say, authority of the internal auditor, that he has full access to the company records. Then this all internal audit activity should be in writing. It should not be verbal. It's not that this is the law, someone said and make a law. No, we have to document it and make it, and we have to communicate this also. It's not that only we have to make this and just left it. We have to make it in writing and we have to communicate. Then there should be a body, there should be a man who should have a periodic assessment of the adequacy of the internal audit. It does not mean that you, in the start of year, you introduce one manual or one charter and you are carefree. No, it's like continuous improvement concept is there. If some CAE, Chief Audit Executive, or senior management, they should review the procedures to bring newness, bring the, if there is any loophole, any difference you find in the procedures, you can keep increase. This is like a quality assurance, sort of. Then we should provide a formal written document about the internal audit activity to manage the auditing function within the organization. So this is a clear that we should have a charter. It should define the rules and regulations, responsibilities of the internal auditor, and it should be reviewed periodically. This is just we discussed. Then who will review? The Chief Audit Executive. This is a designation in US CAE. He is like a CFO. CFO is the head of finance, accounts, who is running the show. But this guy is called CAE, Chief Audit Executive, who is reportable to the board, and he has internal control audit system in the company. Then he should assess whether the purpose, authority and responsibility continue to be adequate to enable the internal audit activities. Then, what is the nature of assurance services? The nature of the assurance services provided to the organization should be defined in the audit charter. Everything we have to define. Now this is one step ahead, the assurance services. Which assurance we can provide to as a auditor, internal auditor, this should be mentioned in the charter. Okay, let's continue. The purpose of consulting services should be defined in the audit charter also. The assurance and consulting, both things should be defined in the charter. Value proposition is a value proposition of the internal audit activity is realized within organization that employs internal auditor in a manner that suits the culture and resources of the organization. The definition of internal auditing and includes assurance and consulting services. Assurance is giving a satisfaction upon certain procedure, rules, regulations that this is in accordance or not, right? And consulting is like an advice. We have consultant who is coming, reviewing the procedures, and they are giving the advice. So internal auditor has two roles. One is consulting, one is assurance. Right?
Yes. So is there a difference of assurance service given by the external auditor and the internal auditor?
Yes. Actually, external auditor can give you anything because he is not your employee. And if you feel your staff is not working well, you have your cash, you have a doubt that cash that is received is not being banked properly, you can call your external auditor. For him it will be an engagement, a special assignment. But for internal auditor, you have to define this thing in a charter. That can or internal auditor be your consultant? Right? This is we have to define in the charter. If it is defined that in case internal auditor can be involved in the assurance services or the consultancy services, then he is allowed. Generally, if you suppose this thing, like if you work in accounts department in a company for 5 years, Now we shift you in audit department, internal audit department. You cannot audit your work, right? Immediately you cannot. 2 years you have to wait